Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about confidence boosting tips for men suffering with hair loss. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I'm a hair loss sufferer, primarily through trichotillomania, but also through male pattern baldness. If you're new to this channel, you might find this quite helpful. I wear what's called a hair system. Other people call it a toupee. Some people call it a wig. I don't really care what you call it anymore, but basically it helped me deal with the hair loss that I've been suffering with for years and years and years, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But initially I'm going to talk about some more organic ways that you can deal with building your confidence whilst experiencing hair loss. But before I crack on with that, if you are new around here and you're interested in hair loss topics or hair loss solutions, please do give this channel a like and subscribe. It will really help the channel grow. For those of you that aren't so new around here, you might notice that my microphone's a little bit different this time. I actually broke my previous one, so I'm having to use a very temporary structure to hold this one in place. I've got my new microphone arm, coming tomorrow, so hopefully it'll be back to normal by next week. So confidence booster number one is the importance of putting things into perspective. Now, I've said this on my channel multiple times, but we are our own worst critics. We are worse on ourselves or harsher on ourselves than pretty much anyone else in the world. And there's an interesting saying that goes, if I treated my friends like I treated myself, I probably wouldn't have any. And there's more than a grain of truth to that, because more often than not, we treat ourselves terribly and we treat ourselves with a massive lack of respect, and that adds to a weight of anxiety and low self-esteem, and over time that just lowers our confidence. So it's important to recognize we are our own worst critics, and that applies to hair loss as well, because when you think about it, well over half the male population have some form of hair loss throughout their life. So you are not the only one. You're one amongst billions of males. So that's important to remember. Confidence boosting tip number two, be practical about it. It's really important to remember that when it comes to hair loss, this is a medical condition which is not life-threatening. Okay, there may be a few scientific studies which show that the rate of prostate cancer may be higher in men who suffer from male pattern baldness, but it's not good quality research. I wouldn't be able to definitively say off of that research that this research should be taken as gospel. So it's important to remember that your life isn't at risk here. That's really important to remember, but also it's not something that you need to be significantly worried about. It's literally a blend of genetics and a certain type of hormone. And in a previous video, I also explained about sort of sexual selection and how actually balding was an advantage several thousand years ago when we're still, hunter-gatherers. It's important to remember that there are so many diseases out there that could make you infinitely more ill than dealing with hair loss. Dealing with hair loss, in comparison to those kind of things, is actually a very small deal. Now, yes, it's a psychological challenge, but it's only as difficult as you make it. Confidence boosting tip number three, find a style that works for you. So hairdressers and barbers, they encounter people who are losing their hair all the time, and they've got a series of techniques that can actually cover up your balding area, at least in the early stages of hair loss. So typically for men, you'll quite often see a recession around the temples. That's usually the first sign that you're losing your hair. In a minority of men who suffer from hair loss, it starts in the crown, but the same rule applies. There are ways they can cover it up. There are also hair fibers that can be used definitely in the early stages, not in the later stages. Not when you've got the amount of hair loss that I have, it just wouldn't be suitable. But certainly in the early stages, it can help keep your self-esteem high. It can help keep your confidence at a solid level if you have a hairstyle that still looks good, but it covers up those receding areas, especially around the temples. What I noticed when I first started experiencing male pattern baldness was my barber would literally push the hair forward and leave hair longer around here where there was recession happening. And tip number four, and this is if you're really struggling psychologically with the impact of hair loss, and that is seeking out support. So by seeking out support, you can go and see a counsellor, you can go and see a therapist. I've been to therapy, I've been to a lot of therapy myself for a number of things that have happened in my life. And I can hand on heart say it's made me a better person, it's made me more resilient, but it's also given me some really important tools to deal with adversity that comes up in life. And now tip number five, out of the confidence boosting tips for if you're a male suffering from hair loss is take action. Take action. For me, I decided to get a hair system. I'd done all of the medical route, I'd done the laser, I'd done the micro needling, I'd done all of those things. They didn't work, but I found a sustainable solution. I started wearing hair systems. This particular one is a silk-based hair system. It's due to last 8 to 12 months, so actually it's really affordable over the longer term if that's an option you're willing to take. Obviously, there is a financial investment, but these days, by following people like myself, you'll be able to find a really cheap and affordable way to do it. And that's where I come in. That's basically where my channel comes in. It's to help you guys save as much money as possible when you want to take action and find a solution, a sustainable solution for your hair loss. Now, before I go, if you are interested in hair systems, I've negotiated a 15% discount with LaVivid. It's in the description box below, so don't forget to avail of that. It can save you about £50 or $60 on a hair system. That's quite a lot of money, and you can use it as many times as you like. Now guys, let me know in the comments box below, have you been suffering from hair loss and taken action? Or have you been suffering from hair loss and decided not to take action physically, but maybe seek psychological support, or actually gone completely bald and just shaved it off, or found solutions whereby you're able to cover up the balding patches? Let me know in the comments box below. This is a really interesting topic, and it's so pertinent with males, especially in 2024 when there's such an emphasis on having a full head of hair or looking our best. And at the end of the day, this is a judgment-free zone. It's your body, it's your hair loss. You're entitled to do whatever you want. Let me know in the comments box below. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.